This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about Dave. It's been written that Dave could apparently push you more than anyone, just about anyone else. And I'm sure a lot of that is just because you respected his accomplishments. But you wrote that the guy only weighed 170 pounds, but he was able to just manhandle people multiple weight classes higher than him. And apparently he had a mean streak too. Guys would, try to shoot in for takedowns, and he would choke guys in a front headlock and then pin them before the referee even noticed they were out. What can you tell us about Dirty Dave if he were a pro wrestler?
Dirty Dave, yes, Dave would have been the biggest heel in the business. He was able to apply pressure points. He learned a lot of that stuff too from other wrestlers throughout the world. And he would get someone in a front headlock, and he would put his hands both sides on the part that cuts off your circulation in your neck. Yeah. And he would put him in a hold and lock it in really tight. And he was super strong. Like when I tell you his grip and his gut wrench strength were incredible. He put a front headlock on you, you were squealing. You were getting choked out, and you were struggling. And it wouldn't take long to pass out. And Dave, did that in the Olympics. The referees started looking for it because, a lot of the wrestlers from the other parts of the world were complaining to the officials about Dave, doing that. Dave was just a badass. He knew how to apply pressure points and make people pass out. Him and his brother were brutal on the mat. They were just very violent, very physical. If Dave took your arm, he was going to try to break it. I mean, he was just amazing. His strength was incredible for his size. And both of the Schultz brothers were incredible wrestlers, and they were very physical.
Compare him to a guy, that we hear all the time on JR's podcast. I know it's a different era, but Danny Hodge supposedly had a grip strength that you wouldn't believe. He could just crack pliers, and he could just squeeze an apple and burst it and turn it into apple juice. But it sounds like this sort of raw strength you're talking about, Dave had his own version of that, right?
Oh, he was exactly like Danny Hodge. I'm sure that Dave, if he tried to crush an apple, he'd be able to do it. His grip strength was incredible. And his whole body. Crazy thing is, he never lifted weights. He never was.
It's unbelievable.
And he never gained or lost weight. He was always wiry and thin, and not a lot of mass to his body. And he was really hairy. He looked like he was wearing a coat because his body hair was just so hairy. And but it made him look like a lovable bear. That's how Dave looked. He had the beard, and he's bald up top, but
like a skinny Dutch Mantel with the body hair, though, right?
Yes, exactly. He didn't look like much, but he was a real badass.
You also wrote that he had a very unconventional style, that he would create cutting edge moves, something you'd never seen anyone else do, judo tricks that would blow your mind. And he also learned 8 different languages in an effort to be the best wrestler in the world. Because if he can hear what their coaches are saying or their instructions, maybe that's an advantage, right?
Oh, without a doubt. And Dave also wanted to learn the languages because he wanted to learn technique from the wrestlers. He was always open to that. The crazy thing is, when we go on international tours, Dave knew just about every language of every country we went to. So it wouldn't be that hard to communicate with the people there, because Dave was so well educated with his, learning different languages. But he did it because he wanted to be the best wrestler in the world, and he wanted to keep getting knowledge. That was his whole concept of why he wrestled. He wanted to gain knowledge of wrestling. Every second that he spent training wrestling was about getting smarter and more knowledgeable of wrestling. That's what it was all about today.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.